not going to do it. And that will give a huge, big-time 2-game performance between Vidil's trio. But wow, still, a lot of big names in this fight. Andelix, Xweez, Snazy, great fundamental play on the low ground, got them in, and still have an opportunity to have a 3-trio race at the end. But still, Shayo, don't count out Benji, Amplify, and Matzo. If they could get a pop-off game and another decent game going forward, they could sneak into that top 3 as well.
I don't want to count them out, but it feels like every game they are getting counted out, unfortunately. I'm not sure if it's position, if they're running into another team that really wants to fight. I know that's what happened last time with Kinzel. It's just unfortunate for them overall from the journey from early to mid, and very specifically from mid game to end game. They need to perfect that. They've fallen from Grace second all the way to 5th place right now. 100% though, I believe they can clap back. Speaking of clap, and this is exactly what Reason, Noah Riley, and Vidil have been doing today over and over again, pushing a different team and getting a full squad wipe.
It's still dangerous. This is so dangerous. Even though they've been winning these engagements throughout the entire day, this is still going to be a very intense fight. We see that a 0 on the board can make you slip, considering that Hen, Andelix, and Flick, they could pop off. So this is still a very dangerous engagement we're about to watch.
Still look at those HP bars, right? The big downs. You have Legends. Both these guys do not have that much HP. One tag from either of these guys, it could be over.
All right, here we go. This is an intense situation. Big tags on EDQ to start off this engagement. It's going to be a big, valuable, wow. I was trying to build up some intensity, bro. I was trying to build a story. I had everything ready to go.
But you know who we're dealing with? These guys are done taking normal fights. They're now just pinpointing exactly who's weak on the map. Where's the fight actually happening? Is this the first time we're watching them in Holly as well, bro? This is disgusting.
I mean, yesterday they had a battle of Holly Hedges, right? Nico came in from the backside and took out Vidil's trio. So that's what happened here. But like I said, they've been scary throughout the entire time, and their reputation precedes them. And now they're going to single out Legends here. And I've been in this situation before in a high-stakes tournament. When someone sees you by yourself, you are gone. You are going to be eliminated and sent to the lobby with the first-class ticket. And hey, it's not fun when you're that person running away. I could trust me. I know.
It's tough, man. I also think, like, for all these guys' keyboards in general, maybe it was like in between day 1 and day 2. I heard this legend that they all dropped their keyboards by accident off their desks, and then all those keys scattered. The only ones left were the ones in Vidil's house. They were all just W's, all W keys. They replaced all their keys. No QWERTY. It's just W, 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 W. That's not even just in the way they play. It's the way they're taking names, the way they're now just in first place overall, with a sizable lead going on the last 2 games. I mean, it's nuts.
It's literally W, whatever bind they have to edit, and then the left click. That's it.
That's all they need.
That's all they need. Look first at this map here. It's a central zone. So this is going to be a huge opportunity for Savage's trio to make some moves up the leaderboard. I know we've been saying that name for we've been waiting for him to make a move up. It just hasn't been there. I really believe their Storm Surge strategy has been really affected by Michael's trio that's sitting in the center, by Cisse's trio, by being at risky reels. A lot of other trios that are tough to take out have been affecting Savage's trio. It looks like Thomas HC, he's getting Brucey involved, and we all know that, hey, the RPG could drop out of this shark.
Not sure if it's part of their game plan, though,
Oh, it is.
If you have Thomas HD hitting snipes on someone in high ground, do you need rockets? They're slower. Thomas is about moving fast, man. He's getting old.
They needed it. I know age is creeping up.
True.
In-game age, by the way.
In-game age, yeah.
I know it's creeping up, but they really needed that. I mean, because that snipe put them like 400 when in those moving zone. Granted, a lot of people were kind of dropping like flies, but still they needed it. And that's the big-time playmaker that Thomas HC needs. So let's go back. Let's kind of scale back. You talk about Benji breaking your heart. Has those opportunities a lot, hundreds of thousands of people watching him stream, cheering him on while they watch him get that game 2 victory, a fan favorite. But what's it going to take for Benji, Amplify, and Matzo to move up their leaderboard? They were holding on that 3rd spot. Now they slipped down to 5th place.
They need a zone. They just need to have like a triple zone situation. You know what I mean? Like, just get 3 zones right on them, and they can easily control a game to get all the way towards the very top. They've only ever gone down on rotation. It's always on rotation, very close as well, like walking across the street. Whether there's a big bus that just comes right by and takes them out of the game 24/7. It's literally a game of meters for these guys every single time. It's just so tragic to watch.
Every rotation, you think max pool, short pool, dead center. When it comes to this high stakes tournament, when it comes to these set lobbies, it's not going to be easy. And now look at the power that Vidil, Reason, and Noah Riley have. Look, they push fights. They don't care. If they can have a pistol, they'll push a fight. That's where they're at right now. But now you're giving them those power weapons, and now they're going to go all in. Vidil must be dripping in that gold because he's literally upgraded all the way to purple tech, now a blue lever shotgun. So now look at that. Luxury, whip lashes, energy efficiency car, no doubt. I think that they have as well. They have all those things. No, scratch that. These cars run on gas, but the energy is high for Vidil's trio. They're on high octane rotations and movement. But here is what I'm talking about. Benji's trio, they did this last game. This is their plan for tags, and Kenzel's trio showed up here and slowed them down on their next rotation.
Right now, basically, we're living in the house of the top 5, and what everyone's trying to do is close and lock the doors for their position. The people with the door that is almost basically fully closed is Vidil, Noah Riley, and Reason. We've seen them a couple of times. There they are, 247 points coming into this game. Already have 2 elims. Now they're bumped up all the way past the 250 threshold.
Let me tell you what's at stake here. First place, $300,000. Second place, $210,000. Third place, $135,000. Fourth, $120,000. Fifth place, $105,000. And if you drop out of that fifth place, that's $15,000 that you lose. Other than that, drop below 6 to 7, another $15,000. So every placement going down from 5th to 10th, you are losing $15,000. That's $5,000 a piece.
So every team all across the board is still fighting for more. But I still want to keep talking about doors, man. Like, when it comes to that first place team, right? They're so close to closing it. If Vidil, Reason, and Noah Riley right now end up winning this game, get like 30, 40, or 50 points, I think that's just locked in.
Okay.
That's a full nice finish, because like there's no one's going to be able to fully catch up to them game after game. They'll have to have another phenomenal performance, and we see these guys alive in every single game. They're here right now in this game to lock that door.
Last season, we were talking about Andalex's trio run. They had that opportunity. The door was open from them for so many games because Mongrel Meat Rotation could not close it like you're looking for Vidil's trio. They just could not close it, and it was just a mere matter of points that Mongrel Meat Rotation were able to win. So this door here is wide open considering that it's this close with 2 games, and these teams are looking healthy, Shio. There's no one really pushing them. There's no one really trying to stop them from doing what they're doing. So that's what you mean, man. Literally so many trios have that opportunity to pop off here. We all know they have it. We all have seen it. We've seen the qualifiers, the heats, and now they have to do it when it matters the most with only 2 games left.
You know what the weakness to most doors are, though? The door-to-door salesman. They'll come knocking. They'll put their foot in the door. And Snazy and Alex and XPs, they definitely have things to sell. Other people's performances. They want to make sure that no one has a chance to go through. They've taken out trio after trio, moving up the rankings. Even took out Vidil, Noah Riley, and Reason in the last zone of that final game to have a seat at the top 3, to have more than even a foot in the door. So they have a chance to keep things completely open. They need to survive this game. Already have 1 elim. It looks good for Snazy. 10 peppers as well. That is key in having some of the fastest speed you can at pushing rotations, at pushing height. It makes the difference, and it's so hard to find on the map. Caddy corner is such a big spot to land there because of that, right? They'll have even more power coming in this end game. Just keep those doors open.
Now we see the zone 2's revealed. This is going to be huge for Janice's trio alongside with Hayden Chapix. This zone, last time we saw they had the zone in the day, they were able to walk away with the victory royale. They are basically a mirror situation here. They go right to that same tree mountain. That's going to be a prime real estate for everyone to push in. But I think Hayden Chapix and Janice here, they're basically going to sit there and hold on to it a lot stronger this time around. And you're seeing the prime real estate as well of Colossal Coliseum coming into play. We always talked about people being on the 4 corners right here as Snazzy takes some hits here, making this rotation. Ooh, another
more
one.
Than a hit.
Ooh, that's a big one right there.
And then a kick. He's almost knocked out, but he's got this corner by his side. He'll have the minis and the chucks to use overall. It's going to be all good for now. More trios, though, rolling from the backside while he has to heal and farm up. That could be a position for them to come in and throw down.
And at least this time around, Storm Surge not a factor here for Analex's trio. They're currently 491 above, looking really good. That's why they were making this kind of dead side rotation. But again, another person had the same idea, and that's Thomas and Austin Flick. So we have the top of the board here. Oh my goodness. We're talking about more than $15,000 at stake here on this rotation.
It's kind of a walk down memory lane as well. You know, last season, when you were talking about Mongrel Mutual Taste and right in general, I'm going to talk about how it looked like after 10 games. Alex, Thomas HD, and Benji, and of course Benji was on a different team that time too. These guys were in the same position
Savage, yeah.
inside the top 5, right? Like,
yes,
this is very reminiscent of what we saw before. But remember, before we had power POIs, that doesn't exist as much anymore. It's more about the flavor of power you just want inside your team. For Thomas and Austin Flick, it's about rotations, snipes, storm surge damage. For Snazy, Analyx, and Squeeze, it's about those peppers, that fast end game you can play, and really pushing every possible pocket of a box of some space, having it for yourself. They have such a big base right now, big position on the right side, and even better rotation to make. We can talk about Benji as well a little bit, right? For him, it's about making these end games. No matter where it is, as long as that trio's alive, they perform so well. The issue is they haven't survived so far to get to that point. And, you know, the biggest new flavor in town now, I'm not sure what type of special name you need to give to them. It might just be, you know, the full aggro. Maybe that's the flavor's name. Reason, Noah Riley, and Vidil. They come in not caring about what your preference is, what you want to eat. They will just shut you down, box after box, push after push. They're just walking in the open right now.
And Noah
awesome
Riley,
rotation, but uninterrupted.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we saw this last time with, I believe it was Hen's trio, or they were kind of just free walking away. Actually, it was Thomas HG's trio. We saw them in one of the finals in the heats, actually, when they were really popping off. They were literally walking out in the open. There would be a team fully boxed up, watching them rotate and not engaging in them. That's how scary they were. Thomas HG in that heat where they popped off with 2016 limbs. That same kind of respect is being played with Vidil's trio. No one wants to engage with them because they know as soon as they hit them, they're going to be keyed. But I really think Vidil's trio is finding a way to slow down just a little bit. They had looked into a third-party situation against that Ingram battle. They decided, no, let's go ahead and play for some placement here. If they could slow down just a little bit, kind of play it in-game, that means it's going to solidify to what you said, closing the door on other teams trying to catch up to them.
Now everything's kind of setting in the sand. First time I'm watching these top trios not boxed up on top of each other, separate bases. Especially as a part of, you know, being in the Coliseum, you would assume some of these teams would have a spot all the way near that side, but not going to be there this time. A desert zone too, you have to remember, map management is the key when you see sand. 100%. And we know some of these teams have the best of it in different styles, you know, for a reason. It's not about managing mass. It's just get another Elam, you know, another 1,500 mass for you. There you go. For Thomas, flicking an Os might be a little bit different, right? Controlling one side of the zone, looking back for beams, and then harpooning things.
I got scared.
I got scared.
I got scared, dude.
My man's taking pistol shots and not moving. Vidil, you're crazy.
He's going in. He's making sure the small bullets. Big tag right there. Whites. Now they have an opportunity here. They could kind of sneak in another shot and sneak in some valuable tags as well. I think the sniper shot was his teammate hitting him in the shoulder. But look at the zone. It's a huge pull right here, but they do have some leeway to work with. That river is not going towards the direction they need to rotate to, but there's still a very dangerous rotation. But looks like Mr. J's trio, who have been having a very consistent day in day one, not finding the same footing here in day two.
It's always different on either day. The stakes are higher too. In day one, we saw every single game was still stacked. You know, 30 trios alive for a majority of the portion. But when that storm surge hit, you know, we stayed at 70 all the way till half and half. Now that the competition's ending, people are getting desperate. They're going for their plan E's, their plan F's instead of B's and C's. They're sticking to outside their guns, outside their box, and really pushing for things to keep them in the competition.
A little fatigue is definitely setting in, and I was listening to the NA West. I was watching some, watch parties. Shout out to all the watch parties out there. I was watching it, and I was hearing comms that sometimes they're like, yo, I never landed here before. I never rotated here before. I have no clue what I'm doing. That's what ends up happening here when you've exhausted every kind of plan or any kind of scrim idea, practice scrim that you've done before, and now you're just up against it, back against the wall. Some people's walls are completely gone.
Anas, Thomas, and Flick want to rebuild those walls 100%. Fourth place coming in to this next game right now. Vidil, No Ride, and Reason trying to make sure they stay in the lead. And Janice and Chapix, they want to be here too. Right now, our top 10 teams are all alive for this game. And for Thomas, Anas, and Flick, they're way ahead of Surge. The thing that's held them back so far, they've cut the tape off and now are inside the crime scene wanting to do more.
And keep an eye on 6 through 10. We're talking about Verox's trio, Miro's trio, Slender's trio, and Cammy's trio, and DKS's trio. $15,000 if they fall. I know there's still one more game left, but it's going to be huge if one of them does go down. And Vidil actually gets knocked by Verox.
Wow, so that is literally fifth, trying to climb all the way back in, trying to get higher up in the rankings. Might just be a snipe, though, because you know how far these guys are. No, it's a box fight, right side by side. But I don't see Verox anywhere, so might have been an overpeak. I have a deal.
I'm telling you, their game plan of taking box fights, sometimes it could backfire right now. I mean, we've seen so many aggressive players throughout the world. Sometimes their aggression, their instinct gets them in trouble. Sometimes they overpeak. Sometimes they put an edit that they're not supposed to do, and they get hit in the face really hard and knocks them down. So that's what happened to Vidil, one of the best box fighters in the world, one of the most aggressive fighters in the world. And now it's going to be up to Noah Riley and Reason, who are looking for redemption from last season. They have an opportunity here to kind of close that big door. Let's keep that metaphor going. This door just got a little bit heavier, and there's a lot of things in that way. That door-to-door salesman foot just got bigger.
Absolutely, and right now, forget about salesmen. I'm looking at just pioneers, captains of the scene right now with Guilds and Gamma, the trio, Anas, Thomas, HD, Flick. High ground position. Talked about it. You give these guys one game. What was the number? Sancho, 26 elims the other day?
26 elims and a second place finish.
That was huge. They're trying to replicate that. We'll see if it's possible. 663 damage above as well. They have Benji, Matzo, and Amplify to fight on the other side of high ground as well.
This is going to be an all or nothing rotation here. Huge rotation here. Fifth zone showing up. Strong opportunity here. 5 elims so far. And take a look here. Sitting perched up top is Matzo's trio on the other side.
Looking at everything all around, more people down all the way towards the bottom. Looks like Benji has the better base all the way towards the top side. Snazy's there all the way on low right behind Ref's guard. And at the same time, Hen is below Benji. So if anyone slips for even a second at this moment, it could spell disaster. Teak, Seti, and Cammy are also on the sight lines of Snazy. They're alive in this game. They were put on ice, Sancho, for this entire tournament run so far. Right now, they could defrost, come back, and have a say in the top 5.
And that's what it comes down to. It's going to come down to performance as much as possible here on these rotations. Everyone has to stick together. And Alexis Trio had a great game in the previous one, being together, sticking to the fundamentals of FNCS Trio play.
We're looking at Reason's POV. He's the last person alive, also way back in the zone. It's the 6th-1 rotating. He's trying to get something done, but it's absolutely not possible. Unfortunate. Still actually just staying alive towards the very side, but man, as a solo player, this is going to be very, very tough.
Very tough, but Reason can do this here. Every placement point matters now that we're in the 17th. Now they're getting dished out.
Absolutely, and I'm so looking forward to see exactly what we can see from Reason over here, but it's very tricky in terms of him being able to survive. We'll hop around a few POVs and see exactly what's possible in this scenario. Still looking at a majority of these teams. It's getting crazy. Reason actually elevated a few layers. The zone is starting to move. 41 different players alive. Top 17, so placements here. Reason can still find a way for his team to stay here if he survives in the #1 spot. He's getting bullied from down below. Don't slip now, my man. You got to stay alive. You got to stay up. Right above Savage and I drop 2. He's looking for a way forward. 50 damage above Surge. He's keeping the throne for himself and his team.
Now he's going into a other instinct mode of just fight and survive as much as possible. Close to out of mats. Now he's down to only just a soft mat. So he's going to be a big target here. He's going to have to switch layers. He's going to have to move. He's going to have to bounce and survive as much as possible. He is still getting placement as the other trios are going down. Thomas HC Amplify getting some big knocks in the feet. Reason, the wood build from behind was just not as strong enough to handle the beams.
Just 5 placement points for him to roll with in this game. Would that be the difference to keep them in first? Hen, Chapix, and Janice have an opportunity to push forward and claim that prize.
Snazy and Elixir Squeeze are still in this fight in third place now. We're going to have to keep an eye on where Vidil, No Rival, Reasons now has been frozen in time. That is going to be something where he's locked in. Hen's trio is still on their feet here, and solo is Thomas HD. The Benji's right there getting triple beamed here. RBG comes in and stops the triple beam. They got to go back to the defensive stance. And look at height. It is Thomas HC and Nos and Flick going against Pizza's trio.
It's trying to just hold it all the way up top. Thomas has run out of shields. He's popping a few more. This is a big thought. All the way down below, he's still looking for some chances to shoot down. Flick gets forced down slightly.
It's Matzo and Benji Fishy. Whoa, my goodness.
Snazy went down completely. Those guys get frozen in time. Third place not to get any more points in this game. Ardent is also getting bullied. Flick has found an opening, and he finds a few shots. He lands them.
This is going to be big for Flick, Thomas, and Anas right now. 10 elims and control of the high ground. Hen is down below with Janice here with Chapix, and they have a big fight with Tayson and Savage. That's going to be a big layer-to-layer fight engagement here. Let's go down low. Cubix gets taken down by Hen. Hen, Janice, and Chapix are fighting together. They're looking strong. They're usually down to duos, but as a trio, they're still deadly, and they take out Tayson easily.
That's another big pickup. Benji's also active in the feed, but now they're taking damage. Hen, big chunk splashes, keep him alive in the zone. What a pocket play right there.
But
Gamma is still up top. They're reading down big beams. Just one left. It's Hen. Can he make the difference? No, so close.
Flick, Anas, and Thomas HC now has an opportunity to keep moving up the board, considering second place is down. Huge opportunity now. It's 11 elims and a top 3 finish, but they want more than that. Matzo gets bopped. Benji Fishy gets bopped. It's a top 2 and a victory royale, and you said the door might be closed. Anas, Thomas HC, and Flick are about to kick the door wide open. Cammy Seti are holding on as much as possible. This trio has had a bad day all day long, but you know you could shake off an L with a big fat W, but Flick says take this L, Seti, right to the chest. Flick and Austin Thomas HC cannot be stopped, and they pick up Teak. Oh my goodness, this trio from a blaze from up high is now putting so much pressure on Cammy, and Cammy's deep with the heels, but he's getting big time tagged in the back. But wow, what a finish from Thomas HD, Flick, and Anas, baby.
16 eliminations, I think. Man, and they kept the heat up enough to actually bring Seti all the way towards the end game too. Nice to, get those guys off of some ice, but still, that entire end game was basically just the top 5, top 10 teams battling it out.
16 elims on the final stage, and one of the last 2 games of the finals. Talk about clutch, Shio.
I thought it was going to be concrete. I thought we were basically done and it'd be the same patterns over and over. But finally, these guys get one game. They get an inch. I want to see how long they actually drag this whole thing out now. We have the desk ready. We have Reese, Levin, and Zeke. We need to know exactly what happened that game.
So much has unfolded off of this last game. Sancho, West, and Shywage, they made a statement earlier on in that game. They talked about this being like a book. And right now, we're nearing the final chapter of this book. And we don't know who the author is, because the author are your trio's champion. Right now, gentlemen, this is coming down to the wire. This is like Thomas, Flick, and Anas coming in. They came into this game in a second place, right behind the first place team, trying to pull ahead. And with this game, they very well may have cemented themselves in that number 1 spot going into this last game. It's possible, depending on what happens, they may have just closed out the entire competition.
There was so much to break down in that last game. It feels like,
oh my God,
it was like an all-star match almost. Going into the end game, all the big names that we've been talking about through this entire game were still up. They were still relevant in the entire game. And that last 3 players, last 2 teams alive, was almost like basically the top from day one, right? We saw so many teams. You saw Flick, Anas, and Thomas HD, which have moved themselves up to 3rd after that. That is incredibly close as well. Now being 4 points behind Vidil, Norali, and Rezon. But Hen, Janus, and Chapix managed to pick up 28 points in that last game with 7 eliminations, still in the 1st place slot.
We're going into the final game of the FNCS with, what, an 11-point gap between 1st, 2nd, and 3rd?
Yep.
You know, it doesn't get much better than this. Like, we're about to see one of these teams, you know, have to ultimately win the game to be the champions. Like, this is about to get just all sorts of crazy. My brain's turning to mush. I literally just don't even know. Like, this is just way beyond the realms of possibility for me. Looking at who's here from 6th to 10th, though, right? We still have some of these teams who, you know, they are lagging a bit behind in points, but, you know, if somebody was to replicate what we just saw from Thomas and Flick, right? They just had what, like a 62-point game? Like a 62-point game for Cammy's team right now, that would put them, you know, in sort of 250-point range. It'd put them well in the way of being able to, you know, up their earnings in that sense. So really, we're looking like, the final game's about to be mad, Reese.
The final game is about to be so intense. Like I said, 11 points between the top 3. Everyone has to be focusing on these 3 teams right now. If you're looking outside of these 3 teams, yes, there's more prize money for every time you move up those slots. But let's be real, the Axe of Champions is currently presiding. Looks like it's going to Hen, Janus, and Chapix if it was just frozen right here. However, it could go either way. And, you know, these guys have been popping off all day and all day yesterday too. You know, definitely hotter today than they were yesterday. We saw kind of Seti, Cammy, Teak popping off so much yesterday, taking that 1st place slot, but slowing down a lot today. They're also starting to slow up and speed up in this last game too.
Guys, I want to know from both of you, right? I'm turning into my little host right here. Sorry, Zeke, I'm taking the job. I want to know from both of you, right? What's the team talk going into this, right? Like, the final game, you have to have a huge game. Like, what are you saying to your teammates? Like, it's a massive moment.
Bro.
Take it, Zeke. Take it out. I want to hear it.
Listen, you go into this last game like it's any other game, because the moment you start to put all this pressure on yourself and you think this is it, we can't mess up, you're gonna lose. If you go into this and say, we've spent our entire Fortnite career training for this moment in time, we do everything, we've done the same, we know we can win, so don't think about it, let's just go take the Axe for ourselves.
Man, I feel like, you know what? It doesn't matter what these teams say to each other, because I think they need to get Zeke in the call right now. He is going to motivate whoever's team Zeke joins. They're in 1st place. I'm putting my money on that right now. That's a speech and a half right there. But, you know, at this
Honestly,
I was going to say, any of these teams right now, really, they need to just stay positive. They need to stay confident. Every single team in the top 3 has the ability to perform and have performed so far. So, like, they just need to stay confident, play their game that they're doing. I am so excited for this next game. It's actually unbelievable.
My heart is skipping beats right now. Fortnite fam, this is it. One final game, and we will know which trio walks away your FNCS champions. Let's do this one last time in Chapter 2, Season 5. Shia Wager, Sancho, Shancho. Let's get it, boys.
Pop-offs, comebacks, tyranny, defeat. We've seen it all here now in the last 11 games in EU. Sancho, we have one more to sign off with that'll change everything in the standings.
Let me give you a number, folks. 11 points separate the top 1 to number 5. 11 points. Elims are worth 2. Everything matters and everything is on the line. Don't you go anywhere, because it's about to go down right now.
Absolutely. There's been a different team popping off and coming back all the way towards the end. We just saw one game. That's all Thomas, Anas, and Flick needed to stay and be inside the conversation for top 3. We just saw the whole day be owned by Noah Riley, Vidil, and Reason. Back-to-back aggression, a few wins here and there, a few top placements. It's beautiful to watch. And at the same time, we're watching Hen, Janus, and Chapix just play Fortnite at the most perfect top percentage level every single game. You honestly cannot predict which way you want it to go. You can only hope that this team, you know, or any of these teams give us the best game of our lives.
Now we're having a look here Vidil, Noah, Riley, and Reason. We've been taking crazy engagements, getting into box fights, getting into scrums all around the Fortnite island, showing no mercy to anyone that's in their path. Now, can you do that same thing when it's all on the line? Hundreds of thousands of dollars for every placement points. That's the biggest question I probably asked all weekend. Man.
It's a big difference still.
The big difference. You say playing Fortnite every day, like every other day. I don't know, man. We're talking about opportunities to be a two-time FNCS champion in Analytics. We have Thomas HC seeking his first big-time major, time, and it's alongside with some of the Benji Fishies of the world. This is what I'm talking about. Janice again going for a two-time FNCS championship. Hen, I would say the same thing, right? Hen looking for the opportunities for his first major FNCS championship. Let's get it, man. Let's get it.
It's huge for Thomas too, absolutely, yeah. Because of that factor, wants that major win on his side. So we'll talk about the flavor of these top three teams for Thomas HD, Flick, and Anas. You'd think it'd be Vidil, Noah, Riley, and Reason, but these guys are leading in elims right now, just by one ahead of Vidil. 66 rolling into the day. That's what's keeping them near the top. The 16 push we just had from last game. If they get hyped again, it has to be wraps. At the same time, we've seen the retakes from Vidil, Reason, Noah, Riley. They're stopping some of the best trios in the region from controlling the game. Because of this, they have 65 elims, an average placement of 12. So they're just getting aggressive before the end game even starts. And because of this, every single game, they're now in second place. For the first place team, though, these guys are absolutely perfect. An average placement of 7th, average elims of 5 every game, 2 victory royales. Hen, Janice, and Chapix have had the most screen time, honestly, because they're in every single end game.
This is going to be such a difficult rotation. You saw we have Zone 1, which is just as important as Zone 9. Zone 1 shows us it's going to be a northeast type of engagement. Already, we've seen Hen, Janice, and Chapix do really well with these zones. So this is going to be a tough rotation for Amplify, Matzo, and Benji. We've seen them go through Colossal Coliseum. We've seen them sand tunnel up to that center location here in front of the Orchard. Vidil, Noah, Reason, they tend to rotate on that top left side, making their way past Pleasant Park, going from the Blue Bridge. So expect them to be there. And Andalix, Snazy, and X-Sweeze coming in from the right side of the Colossal Coliseum. So you're going to see all these kind of dead side rotations because those teams are not looking for a fight. But Noah Riley is going to look for a fight because this is his Storm Surge plan. But look at that mini-map, Shio. There's only one team at Holly Hedges, and I'm thinking Vidil's going to go visit Holly Hedges soon.
Maybe, but man, every time I'm watching these guys upgrade, it's just not fair. Look at this. Look at the loadout. Chugs minis, the fastest heals you can have in the game. They just don't have floppers. I guess they don't want to fish. They don't need them. And then a full purple gold loadout too. This is just, it's going to be a monster inside a box fight.
And we're talking about monster rotations. Anas, Flick, and Thomas HG basically make the same rotation as Analyx's trio. We've already seen them be neighboring rotational partners. We see that they are basically the buddy system moving along. It's always deadly when they make this rotation.
They don't have to make the rotation technically, right? They got zone. This is their game potentially. They got the zone. If Dirty ever gets zone, we've seen it just completely take over the entire game. Still, they'll have to play a slightly different game because they're not hunting for elims right now. They're fighting for control of different spots on the map.
And you're seeing them look at this. They're going to take this coastal rotation maybe. But let's put that on pause. This is big here. All of a sudden, the Holly Hedges team, who's been getting hit all day, now are going to decide to fight back. And this is going to be a big engagement for Noah Riley, Vidil, and Reason. They have to survive this. They do get aware really nicely right now. But wow, Legend here and Karma could stop the ride for right now for Vidil, Noah Riley, and Reason. We're talking about $100,000 on this line in this engagement here. But still, there's some money from Legends Trio, but they're stepping up to the plate. Nice play from Noah Riley, Vidil, and Reason, taking 2 of them out, and they get their valuable Storm Sags as well, and the ability to continue on in this match.
2 full
That
shielded
was
enemies
scary.
knocked down to 0. 2 full enemies double shot and then sniped in the head on the down but
Scary.
knocked out or not out save. This is huge for this team. They've just earned freedom in this game to do whatever they want. They can box up now in Big Chill. They can go push even more and just get tags. Don't have to fully even finish any fights if they don't want to. That is big. And with the 4-point catch up there, they're now only 3 points behind Hen, Janice, and Chapix right ahead of them. Flick and Austin Thomas do fall slightly far behind, but remember the advantage these guys have. It's zone. Look at this. They have complete control of this whole mountain. No one's going to be rotating here just really quick at all. And everyone who's fighting for the center of the zone right now will get tagged by Flick, Thomas, and Anas.
And they love this mountain range. This is where they know exactly where to peek. We already saw Thomas HD literally taking snipes through a tree that he can't even see. This is where they like to be. This is where they're going to find some value. They have to make sure that their shots hit. On the other side of the thing, you have Hen, Janice, and Chapix here. They're going to take their time, get all the fishing spots down here, maybe go out to the Flopper Island if they need to. They have options on their rotations. They could go ahead and go push off someone who's just survived out there in Steamy Stacks. They can make their way to Stealthy Stronghold. That's all in their game plan. They've done it before. The question is, where is Zone 2 going to go? And that's going to change as well. I think what's been working from them is getting to center very early and establishing a great base. That's worked every time here today when Zone pulls up north.
It's worked every time on expeditions and adventures though, right? The thing is with this zone, hasn't been too much of a commonplace in EU. These guys are now at home, basically living in the same house, realizing they're gonna have to fight each other. It's not about just, leaving, putting on your coat, going to a mountain, going to the desert, or going anywhere else. With the North Zone, all 3 of these teams, our top 3, are comfortable sitting on their couches, but having to act, play, and take control. That is very hard to do in Fortnite.
If there's anything that could teach us what 2021 to 2020 to 2021 is, you could do things remotely. And we've been rocking it from home. And those boys have been rocking it from home as well. They're going to go to Remedy's house here, going to crash into this home, about to get right in this house here. And see, they have to be careful here as well. Kenzel and Waking Deceptos, that's not an easy out. Even though they're not having a great day, still some big-time decorated teams out there that could slow you down. And that just shows you, they say it's not worked. We got some tags. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Because all it takes is one snipe to slow you down and ruin your rotation. It looks like Zone is going to pull more east a little bit. If I had to guess, Shio, it's going to be a little bit north of the Cami split.
That's huge for Thomas HD, Anas, and Flick. There's only 2 teams right now fighting in. Good guess. There we go. And they'll be on a mountain just outside Dirty. Now they'll have to just rush in. There's no one taking control of anything right now. They could get in first, take tags at anyone moving in, but at the same time, from where they are, take good tags as well. We're looking at Hen, Janice, and Chapix. You just talked about it, Sancho. They chose to disengage for their arsenal, their weaponry. It's all about shields. It's all about just big boxes, armor. They want to make sure wherever they're walking, they're not getting hits like Flick just did. It's just a long-range snipe. It's fine. He'll be okay. For Vidil, Noah Rally, and Reason, it's about spears, swords, maces. They want to break down boxes, break down the shields of the people right in front of them in terms of Hen, Janice, and Chapix. For Thomas HC, Flick, and Anas, I'm not even sure what weapon it's about. It might be more about, nutrition, food, consumables, more about just expedition, compasses and whatnot. The equipment these guys have to use, the style of play they have to kind of work with will be the most creative and honestly the most mysterious. I'm not sure how they're going to do and, navigate this game.
I'm so scared right now for Thomas DC, Flick, and Anas. Most likely they stayed up here because they're still looking for tags, but because they stayed up here so long, that allowed Analex's trio to move up. And don't forget, Kiko out there in Retail Row can make this rotation as well. Coming in 8th place, still opportunities for Kiko to get into that top 5, so don't count them out as well. Some valuable Storm Search tags here, but they wish they had a box fight or some kind of drop contention so they could move already and dead side rotate north towards Steamy Stacks. And this is not where you want to be versus Thomas HC, Flick, and Anas. No way.
I'll have an eye on, everyone moving in. I think one of the most benefiting things from moving late is you get to move past people's bases, get a better spot, understand how people are rotating and moving. And Lex has moved past and over as well. And I realize now for these guys, if we're keeping that medieval theme, it's more so a guillotine they set up. Always a slow setup to see where they go. But once they have that rope all the way, set up towards the top, they're ready to go and chop. It's big for them. They get height. It takes a long time, like a trebuchet. like a big cannon to load. It takes a long while for them to really set up, but they have such big firepower when they get there. It looks so good. So will they have a chance to prep is the question. With the zone, absolutely yes. You just mentioned it. Analyx is moving by, right? Hen has zone as well. Badil and O'Reilly are still on the hunt. There's all these variables they can't control that might interrupt them on their charge.
It just feels like I'm watching like a marathon. You're seeing everybody literally on your TV screen running together at the same pace. They're like right next to each other. Again, 11 points separating so many of the big names. They're all right now, as you see, Janice, Hen, and Chapix picking on iDrop, Savage, and Tayson, who are making such a crazy rotation. I don't know if they're going to have a lot here, but it just shows you how valuable vehicles can be. We had some great breakdown from the NA East desk, breakdown how vehicles have been such a big factor in the season. Just allows a lot of flexibility, but it's still at the same time, man. Couple of shots could explode your ride here, just like Hen, who has been exploding here today. He's leading all players with 28 elims, and he's been posting some nasty snipes here on the socials here. But this engagement is going to be big, considering that is the Reboot trio coming in 33rd place in this fight. Hey, they were there in the in-game. They're in 14th place right now. Still have an opportunity to make some big-time money for them here today.
Hen versus Noah Riley and Vadil right now. They're taking shots. Talking about cars, this one might lose a tire here real quick. 1,000 damage up for these guys. Noah Riley's out.
Taking a look at the feed, Benji and Matzo are in this fight as well against Pink's trio. Looks like Benji may survive that fight. The top 5 is now in engagement now. We have the Deals trio going up against the duo of Noah Riley, who's out already. It's going to be up to Vadil here. The duo here. This is going to be a big box fight, child. Big box fight right now. $100,000 box fight happening right in front of our eyes here. Reason trying to do his best to survive this pressure. Coming in from Hen, Janice, and Chapix here. The way Vadil now, it's doing it all its best in the metals, holding on. This is a big defensive play from this duo here, and Reason gets sniped in the back. Reason gets hit, and that's going to be a big-time flaw right now. And Vadil's going to have to do all that he can to hold on. This is second place in shambles, now being pressured by first place here. The deal doing all that he can to hold on, going through all of his hard mats, retreating back to old builds, trying to find a moment to breathe here. $100,000 big chug splash, giving him a moment here. He's gonna need that purple tag to do some big damage here to stop the pressure, but it may be just a little bit too much here for this great decorated player from the EU region. They're not gonna let him go, Shio. There's no way. They know who's in front of them. They understand that this is gonna be a big opportunity to slow down somebody that's gonna try to catch them. Janice, Hen, Chapix, get the second place team out of this match. Gone. Lobbied. Adios.
It's now a head-to-head matchup between first and third. And they have a big boost with some elim points now all the way towards the top. They're on their own special little island. Everyone else is about 30 points, 40 points away. So we'll see how they match up. Still have to move to zone.
Benji is gone. Second and fifth place, gone.
And it's such a phenomenal comeback. A pop-off in that last game, too. So a chance for Sunny, Kemi, and Teak to rise as well. The most important thing right now, with Vadil gone, with Benji gone. A lot of these teams that take up the points, even if just one of them is alive in the end game, aren't here. This is more room for Janice to work with. This is a lot of space for Thomas to control. It's a chance for both these teams to gain a majority of the points. Trader goes almost down. Is that towards Flick? No, he doesn't get the elim credit. Every point matters right now. Squishy in zone, they have a perfect kind of spot on looking towards him, but Flick's not looking there. He gets to walk by and he gets beat from the backside. On his walls, it's all good though for him. He's chilling. He knows that Wishy's still in zone. He can get that shot looking over at Pink as well. The RPG trio has had a reverse explosion the entire day, and they found one tag and cracked the shields of Pink. It's definitely possible for them to wrap it up. Bush is also trying to get straight into the zone here too. Having trouble. Mexi and Michael with Verox on the walls. Flicking off Thomas HD. They are in the dirt right now.
And it was no doubt Pink's trio that kind of tripped up Amplify, Matzo, and Benji. Pink being the last remaining battle. And looking at the feed, Cammy and Teak getting knocked here. That's going to be big. That's 6th place going down. That gives a huge opportunity for Michael's trio to move up the board, for Kiko to move up the board, and Miro, who are still in this fight, as Cammy, Teak, and Seti have been knocked out of this round. Gone.
But back on ice. They had such a good first day. Now, in the second round, in the second day, actually, just only had 1 game with it, though they bounced all the way back. Maxi, Michael Verox for their chance to just climb up the rankings twice here. And Lex Nazy and Squeeze are free too to climb towards the top. If they end up winning this game, they could potentially steal the title too, but a win is what they'll need. And against these top 2 teams, that is not possible.
Still, some phenomenal runs from the best of the best in the EU region. Tip of the hat to Vidil, Noah, Riley, and Reason. Tip of the hat to Amplify, Matzo, and Benji. Great, phenomenal gameplay. Tip of the hat to Seti, Cammy, and Teague. Build on those experience that you had in day 1. And no doubt, next season, you have a great chance to being the best of the best. But we still have 3 chances here. Hen, Janice, Chapix, Flick, Thomas, Anas, Andalix, Snazy, Xweeze in this fight. Opportunity to walk away with the lion's share of over $1 million up for grabs. Going down here as we're getting into zone 4 to 5.
The recipe, the ingredients, they're there for Flicking Off Thomas HD. 177 damage above Surge. They're locked down on it. Now all they need is a good zone for endgame, some nice position, and high ground. It'll be wraps.
Michael has to do all that he can to survive. Michael is the last remaining member of that team here, sitting in 7th place, doing what he can. A bouncer to get as much money out the pot as much as possible here. Michael does not survive as Andalix closes out that story with his beans.
Storm Surge gets active as well. We'll see which teams are affected by it. No one here right now. Andalix and Anas, the same box, one on top of another. It is the one down below who takes that lead, but they'll be moving in tandem, side by side. And I feel like Andalex will deny any type of height take that Guild Gamer Trio wants to make too. So they'll be kind of impeded for now. Still, everyone in this game so close. 51 players still alive. We've hit the placement threshold as well. Tapixen and Janice make their move.
It's going to be a lot of room to move here. It's getting closer and closer to Steamy Stacks. There's nothing like a Steamy Stacks in-game. You're going to see so many people going up and down if it goes more north here of this 5th zone. But it looks like Chapixin and Janice making a great rotation. No eyes on them. Look at it. Look at the arrows in front of them. They have no eyes and no sights, and all they see is backsides. So, an opportunity here to sneak on in and get some valuable tags. But at the same time, I don't think tags are short for them right now. Yeah, Hin's hitting some big-time shots.
He took a big snipe straight towards the back as he was moving in. Yeah. Big shields as well over there. And look at the mats they have to use to get here, Sancho. No hard materials on Chapix. He gave a few up left and right. They're kind of going through their reserve to get to the spot. If zone bounces back, huge for them. Where are Flick, Anas, and Thomas HD? Where's Andalex? How are they looking too? Side by side in the same boxes. It's Tayson, Savage, and iDrop who have height right now. And it's not going to be Benji there to stop them this time in terms of having a box fight side by side. They're not going to be on low where they're in trouble. Miro is though alongside Blackie, and Nas Thomas HD have height on a different side, but max zone. And it pulls towards the stacks. Disaster for Flick, Thomas, and Anas. How will they make this rotation? I don't see any bouncers yet.
And Analex's trio is in the same boat, the same situation. Remember, their neighbors are right next door. This is going to be, we saw a $100,000 box fight. Now we see a $100,000 rotation that's going to happen right in front of our eyes. You see Analex and Snazy went out in front of him. Now the lobby focus is real. Brick metal to hold it back as much as possible. Anything impossible. This is a dangerous bounce. They survive. They get some big tags on DKS, but DKS is now going down, but there's some big lobby focus for a moment here. The hard mats come out. They slow down that rotation. So far, they still have a lot of work to do. They're still on the backside. It's very dangerous for Flick, Thomas, and Nas here. They're still wanting some fights here. They understand it. DKS getting some big hits. Black and Thomas HD. He's in trouble. No shield. It's almost knocked there on Nas, Flick, and Thomas HD. So far, survivors. But look at it, Sayo. The tree slows them down, but so much siphon's coming through that fight. Flick is running as much as possible to get in. This is such a crazy rotation, and they're surviving.
How?
And now they're in the low ground in a decent tarp here. Thomas HG got ahead and built beautifully for them, but can they survive considering that they're on the backside and they don't want to be there here, considering that they're teetering, holding on to their placement.
This is not off spawn. This is an end game. This should not be allowed, but they made it possible. And now they have to find a way to get towards the front side of this entire big tarp going on in the stacks. It actually bounces back the whole way. 15 HP on the Flick. Anas is holding on by a thread. This team is weak, and they have no shields. They did a miracle at this point to bring it back. Flick edited down. They don't control low ground, but one wrong flip, one wrong spot, and they're going to be an absolute disaster.
We have first and second place here on that POV that you're seeing here. First on top, second place on bottom. Basically separated by about 10 points or so here. So every elim is going to matter for Flick, Thomas, and HD. They're going to need to catch up in some way as they're now operating in shambles.
They found their way up in a better layer right now, but still Savage, eye drop, and Tayson control height. They'll take a majority of the points. Thomas gets big flipped on, but I think they almost find an elim. Yes,
oh no!
Anas kind of gets it, but Flick is down, Thomas is down, and Anas is wiped. Their run stops there, and the first place team, I believe, is yes, still alive.
They're still alive, but Analex's trio is still alive as well. They're going to have to make up a little bit of gain here. As Han's getting tagged, Chapik is getting tagged, and they find some saving grace in the steamy stack. They're able to fly up it and slow down that pressure from the backside. And wow, what an unbelievable feeling right now. They are in the air gliding and may be able to glide up for a way for a championship.
They go all the way up top and then fly down straight towards the bottom. Very smart rotations. If they go too high, might get beamed. Sisei is the full finish waiting to happen, but no one can grab it. Everyone's been thrown off the stack. They're now down and towards the middle of the actual steam and bounce back. The builds won't land. Savage goes down. Was that fall damage? I'm not sure. But Chapix is there to actually touch foot. He finds a way to get a little bit of reality inside this entire field of gravity. Ooh. And there's no way for him to even land these shots. It's so difficult, so hard, so many eliminations here too for this trio. They're looking to take the European Championship straight home.
It's just going to be a matter of moments before we crown them. Look at them. They're not only going to walk in with style, but they're going to do it with so much pizzazz as well. They were surviving that crazy steamy stack finish here. They, no doubt, are now going in, and they're going to get some more tags. They're not happy with just the victory. They want to do it with a big-time statement.
And with that elimination, it'll be a 2v2 all the way towards the very end. Seen it multiple times today, but this is for the lock-in. Big retake by Hen, unstoppable. And now dropping down off the eye drop with the big shot. 1, 2, 3 to the head. He's insane. Hen and Janice, alongside Chapix, have done it. The champions of Europe.
Oh my goodness, they did it. Janice being a two-time FNCS champion and Hannah Chapix walking away with it. What a finish, Shia. What an unbelievable ride. And congratulations to that trio. We all know that Hen has always been doing well. We all know that Janice has been here before. But awesome shout out to Chapix as well, man. I'm calling it early. You know what I mean? I'm calling it early. But we've been here. We had a front row seat to that entire finish.
And we can look at it too. Need to make it official on the screen. Dominant performance. Those are the syllables associated with this game. Hen, Janice, and Chapix. An average placement of 9.67, 72 eliminations, 3 victory royales, and a total of 311 points. They are your champions of Chapter 2, Season 5.
Congratulations. You walk away with that Axe of Champions, but more importantly, $300,000 wow, $100,000 a piece. Quick maths, but Shayo, man, 12 games done. A whole season done.
It's 12 of the most insane games. I wouldn't want it to end any other way. The predictions from the desk too are absolutely accurate going through as well. That's huge. Shout outs to them and shout outs to you guys for watching alongside us. Party Royale on your phone, at home, on remote, wherever you are. It was an insane 6 games, and that's it here from me and Sancho.
Anyway, before we go, Shayo, I just wanted to thank you, dude, for being an awesome co-caster to work with. We grew so much, man. You've been so generous, and shout outs to you, man. Thank you so much, Shayo. Thank you. And thank you all for watching. That was awesome.
Thank you so much. We'll toss it back over to the desk. They'll have to break down exactly what that insane game was. The best game of all time for Fortnite.
We are absolutely going to break that down. But first, Fortnite fam, if you're not following Sancho, Shia Wager, Reese, or Levin, all of these human beings are absolutely incredible. Top tier. Please take a moment and give them a follow and send them some love. Wow. This game, boys, you called it. You came in, you knew. You've known since not even game 1 of yesterday. You guys said this is the trio to watch. And now I think the best part is to see Janus, your invitational champion. He gets to come back and win. And now he will be able to hold that axe of champions alongside Chapix, alongside Hen. This trio has worked so hard. And this is what I talked about coming into this. Just sitting back and saying, look, this game is just any other game. We just need to do everything we do, and we can walk away with the Axe of Champions. 310 points, 3 Victory Royales, and 66 eliminations, Reese.
I think they checked into the stream and listened to your motivational speech because they absolutely performed. And what style as well. Winning their last game, picking up the Victory Royale with 9 eliminations in what was an incredibly wacky endgame, going through steamy stacks, flying over. And, you know, let's be real. These guys have been good since their inception as a trio. You know, Hen and Chapix absolutely popping off. We've seen them, you know, some of their earlier achievements in the season doing really well across the region in NA East, you know, popping off at high. There's almost endless achievements for these guys this season. And let's be real, Janus is going to be really, really happy because he didn't manage to get that Axe of Champions coming